Sand Prince stalks these realms once more!
What's going on, guys? Run it back with another replay for you. And we've got ourselves a Dawi versus Slaanesh showdown on the edge of the Darkwood. This is a semifinals match from our most recent tournament that I hosted. Huge showdown here, obviously. Getting into grand finals always pretty difficult, especially in these SFT tournaments. You really do have to win quite a few games in order to give yourself a good chance here. And Dawi are going to have a hard time because Slaanesh is one of their worst matchups. Not impossible for sure, but I mean, certainly one of the ones that slants pretty heavily in the favor of the demons, just because of the access to AP that Slaanesh has. You know, Seekers, you've got all of the demonettes, you know, Exalted Demonettes especially, just wreck Dawi infantry pretty fantastically. But none of those in the opening build. 2 Seekers, some Furies flying in the trees, Azazel in the sky, 4 Devoted Marauders with the Hell Scourges, you know, very good at holding, decent stats. They've got poison. They have bronze shields, but not a lot of armor. But there are some Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh with the silver shields and really high armor. They'll be going up against some Rangers, Quarrelers, and tons of Dawi Warriors. A couple great weapons mixed in here. Just one great weapon. Oh, and another one coming up behind with some Gyrocopters in tow. Very important for the Dawi. These Gyrocopters are absolutely nasty in combat. Their shooting is pretty unrivaled, and they're pretty much impossible to deal with. The only way Slaanesh is going to effectively kill them is by getting Pavane cast on them, which, you know, Chimbambe did bring. Going to be really nice to have. Definitely going to help wrangle those up and help kill them. Azazel does take about 700 damage in the early going here. Lapsing in micro a little bit, it seems, and good shots from the Dawi. You know, Rangers and Quarrelers are very accurate. And obviously, it got pretty good way to fire.
We have a victory point.
Getting that
Keep
much
it
damage
from
on
the
your
foe.
opponent's Lord in the early going is really nice, especially for Azazel, since he doesn't really have any access to healing. Getting that early work in is going to be great for the forces of the dwarves here. Really nice Pavane here, and it looks like Azazel's going to be landing with the Seekers, looking to get some nice early damage here on top of the Gyrocopters, which do land in combat, but not taking a lot of damage so far, barely ticking down. Now finally taking some serious hits. About down to half health, but man, those Quarrelers really hammered those Seekers pretty badly, and they're actually completely dissipating out here. Oh my god. Demonic Instability being punishing as always. Losing a Seeker in the early game here. Very unfortunate for the Slaaneshi forces here. Losing a Fury as well, feeding a ton of value here to the Dawi. I mean, you can see that with these guys dissipating, they're really not giving a lot of value to the bar here. Demonic Instability does not get counted appropriately for whatever reason, so realistically, I mean, that's 1,500 gold between a Seeker and a Fury, 1,550. It's a lot of gold to be feeding in the early game here. Very painful stuff. Seekers trying to get back. They did charge down these Dawi Great Weapon Warriors, but take a lot of missile fire in return. And the Dawi Great Weapons getting it back into just chopping down these disgusting demons on their weird, freakishly gross beasts. I mean, all of the Slaaneshi demons have these weirdly long snouts and just aquiline bodies, you know, just very unsettling to me personally. Not a huge fan. I mean, I love the Slaanesh aesthetic. From a aesthetic perspective, so cool, but me personally, I find them really creepy looking. Massive ick from them, which I guess is the point, so kudos, 10 out of 10. Would be grossed out again. Seekers getting around the flank, and those Gyrocopters did get dealt with, just one of them rolling in. And we've got some fallen Dawi here in the tree line. Lots of wrecked equipment, some engineers crushed in all of that, I imagine, as well. And the Quarrelers doing a pretty good job of pushing back the Devoted Marauders and the Chaos Warriors here. Holding in the back line with these guys, defending the number 3 objective. The number 1 is flipping back to the Dawi after being capped up by Slaanesh in the early going there. And Azazel and the Seekers getting a little bit jumped on by the Slayers here. Seekers are pulling back. They're pretty low. Going to be interesting to see how much value Slaanesh can get out of them here in a big value hole. Definitely need to do something to intercept some of these reinforcements, maybe grind back a bit of value. A Fiend and a Seeker in the back line. With the Fury potentially backing all that up, definitely going to be really nice. Dawi really struggle to get reinforcements to their main attacking force. So going with all the missiles in the front line here, working out really nicely for the Dawi in this instance because they're not having to summon a bunch of stuff in to protect the reinforcements. Mostly just bringing in Slayers. Slayers are pretty resilient to being jumped on. At least in terms of not feeding ridiculous amounts of value to the opponent. They're going to trade back a little bit at least. Although this Slayer is certainly not doing all that hot. You know, Soporific Musk and Acquiescence being popped, lowering them down to 3 melee defense. Filthy stuff, man. And Azazel and the Seekers and Furies all over these guys, completely ripping that unit apart in seconds. I mean, full health to 20 models and 800 HP in no time flat. Brutal stuff, man. And I mean, these guys gotta have 8,600 HP, as you can see. So, Slaanesh certainly giving them absolutely no breathing room here. Miners with blasting charges coming in to layer on top of the Slayers. Looks like Big B's is very much looking to create some kind of a box here in the backfield and maybe get a little bit of value against these Fiends and Furies. Definitely could get some blasting charges in on top of these Furies. The Slayers are trying to get away right now. Huge volley coming in there, doing about a third of the HP off of the Furies there, who are trading pretty favorably right now. Fiends looking to get in on top of the Miners with blasting charges to shut them down. They get a really nice collapse in there. One Miner is able to get some more charges in, but not getting a ton of damage, and do hit their own Slayers a little bit. Slayers getting mulched by the Furies right now. My goodness, absolute brutality. Seekers in the background running away from the Slayers, and Big B's just holding the middle in the number 1 objective here, using the Dawi Warriors and the Slayers to do that, while the Quarrelers and Rangers just continuing to hold here, and Chimbambi's definitely waiting for a huge overload. Finally grinding back into this game, getting a decent amount of value back in return after that really rough opening. Gyrocopters coming out. Looks like they're going to be rushing right past. Good bombing run, though. But Pavane going down, stopping them from escaping into the main body of the force. See, the thing that I think that what Big B's was trying to do there was trying to send the Gyrocopters into the middle of the formation here. Once they're over here, the Rangers and Quarrelers can help push back anything that's trying to get on top of them. If they get rampaged, they won't be running nearly as far if they're over here. And some fire support can push back to them. But getting intercepted back here with that really nice Pavane. And getting attacked by Azazel, who does land and forces them to the ground. Great stuff yet again by Chimbambi.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Forcing the Gyrocopters to land is really good. It's going to give the Furies an opportunity, who are already on the ground, as well as the Seekers, a chance to do some damage to them. They do get back up in the air, and Pavane wears out, but Fascination coming in now. Again, being forced to land, and the Fiends and the Seekers are definitely going to finish this Gyrocopter off here. I'd be shocked if they don't get completely killed off. And just feed more value to the demons here, but they did get a great bombing run. Look how much value they got from that bombing run, it looks like. About 600 value. Maybe that was a Gyrocopter from earlier as well. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, I mean, that's a lot of value to feed off as the Dawi, but they do get a little bit of damage back in return, and the Forces of Slaanesh traded so poorly in the early going with the Seekers getting a really unlucky break. I mean, they got no damage on that Gyrocopter out here on this flank over here. on the #1 objective, and then they got shot to pieces and just died ignominiously. Funky stuff happens sometimes when it comes to fighting ranged flying units, and definitely something CA is going to need to look at if they're going to make a 40k game. And 40k's got a few more shooting and flying units than Warhammer Fantasy does, that's for sure. So, and honestly, something I would like to see fixed even for Warhammer 3, but there may be engine limitations behind that. Regardless, we're going to persevere through the game. Still good as it is. Fiends getting a lot of value. Furies rallying to the back here. Chimbambu's doing a really good job of filtering units around the flanks here. Honestly, could probably do to send a Hellscourge Marauder or like an Exalted Demonette up through the woods to get into the back line and just clear out more Dawi units before getting the collapse here in the middle. It is incredibly close right now. The Dawi still haven't evened up the ticket
One
lead.
of your units has been destroyed.
That speaks to just how slow Dawi are getting onto the points in the early going. That Slaanesh was able to cap up the 1, 2, and 3 and get this much of a ticket lead. And Dawi have been trading pretty favorably in the interim and still aren't evened up on the tickets. So Slaanesh playing very patiently. Gotta give it up for Chimbambu, doing a good job of not overextending as he builds up. More Exalted Demonettes coming out. How many does he have on the field now? Looks like just the 2, oh, 3 actually. 1 in the forest here. Fiends, Devoted Marauders, Chaos Warriors. I'm not 100% sold on this strategy though. I would honestly just send all of your stuff into the woods and flank Overload onto the #1. Continue sending stuff around to intercept and maybe get onto the rear of this formation. Splitting your forces like this. I played a game against Martinius in this same tournament. Again, he was playing Cathay, I was playing Khorne. I split my forces up like this on a map and kind of got picked apart because I didn't have a unified enough front to really pressure the missile line. And feel like Chimbambu might be running into a similar scenario, although it does look like, you know, the back line has been mopped up pretty nicely. Just 1 Slayer coming in. Lots of dead miners, lots of dead gyrocopters. 1 gyrocopter does look like it's slipped through. Getting out here into the middle of the field, getting some shots onto those demonettes, that's going to be some really nice trading, man. Punishing those demonettes is going to be amazing value for the Dawi, and very important because of the AP these guys bring. I mean, they absolutely destroy Dawi units in close combat. So doing something about them is going to be a huge X factor for this gigantic fight. Good layered fire, getting rid of the Devoted Hellscourge Marauders there. Quarrelers firing in on the Fiends. Fiends trying to get into contact with those guys. And Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh getting on some Dawi Warriors.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Going for that fight. Not going to get through them quick enough, I fear. Although the Exalted Demonettes have a good opportunity to get on top of 2 ranged units here and absolutely crush them. Fury's getting into the Rangers nicely. But the Exalted Demonettes here, huge. I mean, look how many ranged units are firing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranged units. Quarrelers and Rangers all firing into this Exalted Demonette unit, absolutely mulching these guys before they even get close to melee combat. They do manage to collapse in here. We'll see how much damage they can do. Oh my goodness, look how much damage, even in their tattered ass state. These Exalted Demonettes really not leaving anything to be desired in terms of their killing prowess. Mulching through at least 1 Quarreler before they go down, which is, you know, it's decent enough, I guess. This Exalted Demonette here collapsing. Fiends still fighting.
One of your units has been destroyed.
1,300 gold unit, mind you. They're really great after the buffs, man. Absolutely stupendous in terms of the value that they provide. Azazel doing a really good job of breaking this Ranger unit here. Acquiescence going down on those guys, doing some good work. And Demonettes, Exalted Demonettes, man, mulching through the front line. Killing 1 Quarreler, completely shattering them. Effectively killing off this entire Quarreler unit. Probably could stand to follow up on all of these ranged units that are back here. you've got this huge hole in your opponent's formation, and there's really nothing stopping you. If your opponent wants to throw Slayers into combat against Exalted Demonettes, that's fine. The Demonettes, you know, Slayers will do a little bit of damage in return, but they don't have magical attacks. So the Fizz Res is going to be really nice for those Exalted Demonettes fighting the Slayers. And you can kill off the remains of 4 units here. And, you know, ranged units are pretty tough to deal with. Even with the health that they've lost, they've still got like 52, 46, 42 models. It's a lot of firepower to turn around here. And they are rallying. Very important to have to deal with these guys. Gold value is just about evened up from Chimbambu, but that crumbling is still not being taken into effect. It's worth remembering. Devoted Marauders helping rout some great weapon Dawi warriors. And man, these Gyrocopters, what are they up to? 1,700 value after all of the hell that they've gone through. 500 value on these guys, and they're ripping apart these Seekers in combat. Seekers, I think they could go back here, man. The Demonettes are turning their attention, but they're getting massacred on the way in. This is the problem with not following up on a ranged blob quick enough, is they all turn their bows around and just start massacring all the units that you think can get on top of them in time. Proving to not be the case for Chimbambu, but the Exalted Demonettes here, they are getting some pretty good value. These fiends continuing to just chug along. Only 1,000 health left, but 201 kills, 1,800 value. Admirable work from those fiends there. Exalted Demonettes do crumble out there in the background, as you might have seen. And Fury's desperately trying to catch the Gyrocopters, but here's some of the jank. These Gyrocopters, not going to take a lot of damage if they get moving again, and yeah, there you go. I mean, the Furies are literally on top of them, and they're not hitting them in contact. Painful stuff. Definitely something CA should look at for the future. Updates. It's really painful to chase with Furies, and Gyros just fly away. And these guys shoot while moving also, so if Dawi player is in the right kind of circumstance, they can just keep flying along your entire battle line, firing and dropping bombs while taking 0 damage. It's just not fun to play against. That's why there's so many limitations on those for tournament matches. If anybody's wondering or curious. Good fascination on the Quarrelers, not letting them fire into the Furies, who were trying to deal with the Slayers and Quarrelers here. Azazel definitely going to be able to mop up a lot of these ranged units that are very tattered here. He's just really good at mulching through infantry. He's got very disruptive attack patterns and just good melee attack. I mean, 70 melee attack, pretty vicious stuff here.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Slaanesh, probably the best. Just like Valkia providing incredible flexibility for the forces of Slaanesh, he does also have Demon Blade. Not on the toolkit here, but Demon Blade does give a -16 debuff to leadership while it's active, as well as a nice buff to the weapon strength. I believe it's 25% to all sources of weapon damage. So he gets up to like 625, I believe, when it's active, which is really nice. Furies do catch the Gyros. Gyros are pushed off, but honestly, just this one Gyro has made up for all of the value deficit that they've been feeding up to this point, man. 2,200 on these guys. They're going to get a little bit more on these Chaos Warriors. And it's really painful. You know, the Chaos Warriors are so resilient against all of this missile fire, and then they just get shot to death by these steam Gyros.
You have been bested.
Chimbambu,
there is
not
only
able
defeat.
to make it happen here. Very unfortunate for him, but big props to Big B's there, playing very patiently, just slowly working back the ticket deficit, and you know, taking advantage of that early favorable trading to just slowly work down the forces of Slaanesh. Slaanesh had to grind back into that game for so long to get even in value, and even still probably wasn't as even as it really was. Like I said, demonic instability. Really would be nice to be able to see just how much demonic instability feeds value to your opponent. That isn't reflected in the gold damage value, but such is the way of Total Warhammer 3. Can't be perfect, I guess. This game is incredible for just how many factions are in the game, how much unit variety you get, the sheer chaos of the battles, man. I mean, they're huge. They oftentimes in Dom mode, I find them to be map-wide spanning battles at times, man. So yeah, crazy stuff. Good play by Big B's here, playing very patiently, not overextending, even when intercepted reinforcements are starting to really end up evening out the value trading. Knowing that you've got enough of a critical mass of missiles against a very lightly armored faction, and doing a very good job of targeting down specific units before they can get in combat and wreck your front line is just absolutely peak play. So Big B's definitely deserving this win in a very unfavorable matchup, and Chimbambu, we'll be seeing him around. One of the best players in the RTK clan, in my opinion. Definitely an up-and-comer who's gonna be getting some more tournament wins under his belt sometime soon in the future, I'm sure. Just needs to iron out some of the kinks with engaging big missile lines like this. I've been there. Trust me, I understand. I had this happen like I said, in this tournament as well. It happens to everybody. Probably keeping a more compact formation, or just completely committing to shutting down the reinforcements and bringing the Exalted Demonettes up through the trees and flank overloading with them while the Marauders and the Warriors take that more open field engagement, because those Exalted Demonettes getting shot to death before they got into combat probably was the deciding engagement, despite all of the unfortunate early value trading for the Slaaneshi forces with the Seekers and the Furies getting killed off. Probably would have been okay if the Exalted Demonettes had gotten into combat a little healthier, because, I mean, these two are the ones that got shot up, and they didn't do atrociously. I mean, they still killed one unit apiece. And the one that really did get into nice combats, that was moving up through the forest, 1236 value, literally 14 damage value shy of trading evenly for its cost. So, worth keeping in mind for the future. Take advantage of trees when you've got, you know, like glass cannon infantry units like Exalted Demonettes or Exalted Bloodletters. That would be the equivalent for my faction, Khorne. But yeah, I've been rambling enough, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. Hope y'all got a little bit of knowledge out of it as well. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. GG's. Peace. Take care.